Should you buy a rental property in a flood zone? That's today's video. Let's dive into it. Hey there, I'm Clayton Morris. I'm the president and founder of Morris Invest. We're a turnkey property provider, and I'm a longtime real estate investor. This entire channel is devoted to helping you create passive income and legacy wealth in your life and overcoming all of those objections and hurdles so you can take action and become a real estate investor. Now, one of the questions I've gotten from my investors is it okay to buy a rental property in a flood zone? Clayton, would you ever do that? And the simple answer is no, I wouldn't. The more simple answer is that there are so many fish in the sea, why would I settle for that? So what is a flood zone? Well, the FEMA map has been redrawn multiple times in this country based on the amount of flooding that happens in a particular city. So you'll want to pull the latest flood maps for a city before you go and invest. But we've seen some huge flooding over the past few years across this country. And so what the federal government does is they come in and they designate certain areas as flood zones, flood zone AE, or different designations for flooding. And that lets you know the severity of whether or not during a moderate flood, are you going to have to carry flood insurance on the property. Now, flood insurance, is it a big deal? And overall, in the grand scheme of things, is it a big deal? If you find a great rental property and you want to take action on it, but it's in a flood zone, it's not the deal. It's not a deal breaker, because what you're going to do though is you're going to just pay a little bit more for the property on insurance. And also your appraised value on that property may be lower because it's in a flood zone. For instance, let me give an example in the state of New Jersey, which I would never buy properties as a rental in the state of New Jersey, but if you were going to flip houses to make huge profits, then that's a different animal. The city of Wayne, New Jersey, beautiful little city. One of the first questions that an investor will ask you is it in a flood zone, a particular house? Because that city has a lot of flooding. There's a river right there. And so it's not as attractive for someone who's going to be flipping a house. They're going to spend 9-10 months on a rehab of a house that they're going to flip to a family that's going to live there. And if they find out that the house is in a flood zone before they buy it, they're going to say, no, you know what? My returns are not going to be as high. It's not going to appraise as much, and I'm going to have to carry flood insurance on it the entire time I'm doing the rehab. So it's not terribly attractive. On a rental property, it depends on where, right? If it's in an area that has not seen flooding in a long time, and it's, even though it has an old FEMA map that has designated flood zone, and you feel fairly confident that, this is not going to have flooding. If you look at the terrain and you think, oh, this is an old designation, I'm fine. You ask around, you find out, do you have any wet basements? Are there problems in this area? Has this house ever flooded? If you feel confident moving forward with it, then take action on it. But you are going to carry a higher amount of insurance. Once the insurance company looks at it and says that's in a flood zone, you're going to have to pay a few $100 extra per year to carry flood insurance on that property. But I look at a city like St. Louis, and a few short years ago, I think about 2 years ago, had massive flooding along the Mississippi River. It's a great rental market, but one of the reasons I don't like to invest in St. Louis is exactly that reason, because of its potential for flooding. So I'd rather invest in areas where we don't have much or any flood zone at all to deal with. So that's why I like other cities in the Midwest where you don't have to deal with that, and you get better or the same returns that you would get in a city like St. Louis. So my short answer is there are a lot of fish in the sea. You don't have to settle for a property that's in a flood zone if you don't want it. But if it's a great deal and you feel confident about it and you don't mind paying a little bit extra for flood insurance, then just take a bite of the apple. Just do it. Get out there and take action. That's what this channel is all about, and devoted to helping you take action to become a real estate investor. Stop analysis paralysis. Get out there. Become a real estate investor. Subscribe to my channel. We publish videos weekly here. We hope to bring you a ton of value. I'm Clayton Morris. We'll see you back here on the next episode. Go out there, take action, and become a real estate investor.